what you can do right now to reduce your fuel costs. This episode is not about politics. Gas prices are influenced by many factors, and no single politician directly controls what you pay at the pump. Over the past decade, prices have risen and fallen under both the Biden administration and President Trump's second term, both peaking at about the same level in both of those terms. That alone should make it clear that the explanation is much more complex than blaming one person or one political party. Gasoline is part of a global commodity market. Gas prices are shaped by economics far more than politics. The largest component of gasoline prices is crude oil. Crude oil is traded internationally, and its price can change every day. When oil prices increase, gasoline prices usually follow. When oil prices decline, gas often becomes cheaper. Oil prices move based on global demand, production levels, economic conditions, investor expectations, and geopolitical uncertainty. One of the fastest ways gas prices can rise is through geopolitical conflict. Examples include wars in oil-producing regions like the Middle East, attacks on shipping lanes, sanctions on major exporters, and OPEC production costs. Even if these events occur thousands of miles away, they can affect gas prices in your hometown. The reason is simple. If traders fear future supply disruptions, prices often increase immediately. Sometimes the perception of risk alone is enough to move the market. Now, crude oil is only the starting point. It must be refined into gasoline and delivered to local stations. Prices can increase when refineries shut down for maintenance, a refinery experiences a fire or equipment failure, pipelines are disrupted, hurricanes threaten Gulf Coast facilities, and transportation networks are interrupted. If refining capacity becomes constrained, prices may rise even when crude oil prices remain relatively stable. Gasoline prices often rise during the spring and summer and around holiday weekends. There are several reasons. First, demand increases as families travel more. Millions of people hitting the road for holidays like Memorial Day and Labor Day significantly spike the overall demand for fuel. Second, to reduce smog during the hot summer months, the EPA requires gas stations to switch from winter blend to summer blend gasoline. Summer blends have specific additives removed so the fuel doesn't evaporate as easily, which makes them much more expensive to refine. This switchover happens every spring, causing a noticeable bump in production costs. Third, refinery maintenance. Late winter and spring is the traditional time for refineries to perform scheduled maintenance and switch their equipment over to produce the summer gasoline blends. This temporarily reduces the overall supply of fuel, and when supply drops while demand is steady, prices naturally rise. Now, if you've traveled around the U.S. at all, you know that prices differ drastically by state. California, as an example, has historically had some of the highest fuel prices in the country due to a combination of stricter standards, higher taxes, and limited refining flexibility. Other states may have lower taxes and simpler distribution systems, which can lead to significantly lower prices. Now, even within the same city, prices can vary. Two stations a few blocks apart or even across the street from each other may charge noticeably different amounts. Reasons include when the station purchased fuel, local competition, traffic volume, and proximity to highways or tourist areas. Usually, the closer you are to a highway, the more expensive it's going to be. This is why it often pays to compare prices using tools such as Gas Buddy or by checking nearby stations before filling up. One of the most searched questions on the internet in the last month: will gas prices keep going higher? The honest answer is that no one knows with certainty. Prices may rise or fall based on global events, economic growth or recession, hurricane season, of course, in the summer, refinery outages, and summer travel demand. What we can predict is that gas prices will continue to fluctuate. That is normal. And because you can't control these fluctuations, the smartest approach is to focus on what you can control. And this is where the principles of mastering the commute come in. You cannot control wars, hurricanes, refinery fires, state taxes, or global oil markets, but you can control how aggressively you accelerate, how closely you follow other vehicles, how fast you drive, which route you choose, and how well you maintain your vehicle. I've covered many of these topics in depth in previous episodes, including space management, speed versus flow, GPS route planning, and tailgating. The short version is simple. Smooth driving saves fuel. Planning ahead saves fuel. Staying calm saves fuel. And those same habits also reduce stress and improve safety. The entire philosophy behind the Mastering the Commute content is that knowledge reduces uncertainty. When you understand why gas prices fluctuate, how traffic patterns develop, and how your driving habits affect fuel use, you feel more in control. And when you feel more in control, the drive becomes less stressful. If this episode helped you better understand gas prices and how to save money at the pump, I'd love to hear your best fuel-saving tips. And make sure you check out the podcast home and get your free copy of my ebook, Drive Smarter Now, at drivesmarternow.com. If you're supporting the show on Patreon, thank you. And if you'd like to become a patron, click on the link in the show notes or go to patreon.com/drivesmarternow. Remember, you can't control the price of gas, but you can control how you drive.